All right, so now that you have finished this part or finished observing and collecting data, I would like for you to take your data table and graph it in your notebook. So you can go ahead and take your notebook, okay, and you're going to, below your data table, I'm just going to call it graphing the motion of a spring. So you may have different numbers than me, that's okay, but hopefully you noticed, right, as the spring was going up and down, that you were, you would go really, really far down, like about 50, 60 centimeters, and then occasionally you'd go really, really far up, like at about 10, 12 meters or so. And hopefully you're able to see that your graph just kept going up and down. So you can go ahead and create a graph. So your notebook already has a graphing lines. So you're just going to have to create an XY axis. If you need help with that, you can ask me in workshop. But you should have an XY axis. And you're going to go ahead and label your X and Y axis with the correct units. So remember, our independent variable, our input, was our time in seconds. So that was our x-axis. So our x-axis is time in seconds. And then our y-axis is our position in centimeters. Okay. So go ahead, label your XY axis, and then we have to scale. So we know that we were doing every half a second. So I'm going to make one of these tick marks, two of these tick marks. Each two is going to be half a second. So I'm just going to do 0.5. It's right here. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna go ahead and write it. Scoot this way down so it's out of the way, and I'm gonna put it right there. Okay. So every two tick marks is 0.5 seconds. So then the next one right here will be 1. Oops, sorry. This will be 1.0. And so on and so forth till you have 5 seconds. And then you're just going to take your data table and you're going to graph. And I'm notice, okay, at 0.5, I'm at 55. Oh, so sorry. I totally forgot to scale my y-axis. Of course, I also have to scale that. And my highest that I go up to is about 63. So I'm going to make each one of these 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. So it doesn't really go higher than that. So I'll just leave this here. This is going to be 65 centimeters. So okay, and each one goes up by 5. So actually, let me fix that. I'm going to just do this. And 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 right here. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to graph our data. So at 0.5 seconds, I was at 55 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and put a dot. at 0.5 and 55. That's 0.55, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Oh, sorry, is this, I'm just gonna, 5, 60, 55, okay. There's gonna be a dot right there. And then I'm gonna look at 1 second and see that 8. So it's kind of right here. So again, your data may be different depending on what you saw, how you recorded it. So don't feel like you have to copy mine. Graph the data that you had. So hopefully you have something in your notebook. Go ahead, graph the data, the dots of where your position was at every half a second. Take a picture of your graph and then upload it on Dream CEDU.